And you're live.
Okay. This is Chair McAllen of the Parks and Recreation Commission, the City of Scottsdale. And this is Wednesday, December 15th, regular meeting. I will call to order at 5:02 p.m. We have no public comments. I will now start by roll call vote. Vice Chair Kurt Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Messier.
Here.
Commissioner McGarry.
Here.
Commissioner Qualley.
Here.
Commissioner Curlin. Okay, he's not on yet. And Chair McAllen is present. Okay, as a reminder to everyone, since we can't see everyone, please use the mute when you're not talking. And when you want to talk, if you please hit the raise hand, we would appreciate that. Thank you so much. Our first item is the minutes of the Wednesday, November 17th, 2021 meeting. If I could entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
Vice Chair, so moved.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second. It's Teresa, I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Chair Jones and Commissioner Qualley. We will have a roll call vote to pass the minutes. Vice Chair Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Messier.
Yes.
Commissioner McGarry.
Yes.
Commissioner Qualley.
Yes.
And Chair McAllen is yes. Okay, the minutes have been accepted and approved as read. Our first item on the agenda will be a presentation by the Rose Law Group about the Tournament Players Club, our TPC, PGA Tour Sportsbook facility on the Expo pad. Okay, take it away.
Oh, thanks, Chair McAllen and members of the Commission. I'm Jordan Rose with Rose Law Group, and I'm here on behalf of the PGA Tour, the TPC. With me on the line is David Miller, who's the Vice President and Assistant General Counsel for the PGA Tour, and Brad Williams, who I'm sure many of you know is the GM and the Regional Director of Operations at the TPC. I also have Michael McCoo, the partner and lead architect at Allen and Philp, and Paul Basha, the traffic engineer, who's working on the project, and Jennifer Hall, a planner, senior planner at my office, who's doing the community outreach.
Thank you for flipping my slide there. Go ahead to the next. We've been working really hard with the city for, and this doesn't apply, so go ahead and skip that one, that slide. This was prepared for our neighborhood meeting that we had last night, actually. We've been working really hard with your staff at City of Scottsdale, and I thank Bill and his team. They've been tremendously helpful. We've probably had dozens, if not 100 meetings now on this over the last few years. And we're really excited about the project and hope you will be too. So you can see this is about 3 acres at the southeast corner of Greenway, Hayden Loop, and Bell Road. It's normally you're calling it the Expo pad. There's staging that goes on. There's things like that at the open when the open occurs. And go ahead and switch to the next slide if you don't mind. So the intent is for the PGA Tour to build a luxury restaurant and sports viewing and wagering destination. The PGA is synonymous with luxury, as is the City of Scottsdale. And so this is going to be something really, really special. As you probably know, the state of Arizona adopted sports betting last year and awarded a sports betting license to all of the professional sports teams in Arizona, including the PGA Tour. This will be the only location that's allowed in the City of Scottsdale, and the PGA Tour will operate this. It's going to be a luxury restaurant with a high-end sports viewing theme, and it should be it should be fantastic. We have done a lot of economic benefit studies, and those have been exciting. But from a parks and recreation and entertainment and tourism perspective, this is really going to be a fantastic thing. So let's skip to the next slide, and let me have Michael kind of walk you through the conceptual site plan and then some of the elevations and the thought process that went on behind the elevations, which are really thoughtful to the character of the area.
Hello, my name is Michael Marcoux from Allen Philp Architects. What you're looking at right now is our site plan. We've located the building basically right in the middle of our allowable site. This allowed for easy access, parking, staging on the east side of the lot as we access the access drive that currently supports the Champions golf course, and also allowed some space for the west side for the volunteers tent for access during the waste management open. This also allowed us a pretty good setback away from the neighborhood to the east. We sit about 215 feet away from the nearest neighbor. So we've kind of organized our building with being conscious of the neighborhood as well as the views. So what you're looking at in the site is, as a guest would arrive from the east side of the property, we have our arrival is on the north side of the building in the form of a large colonnade. This allows us some articulation and some arrival experience. It allows us some visibility along Bell Road, and allows us to do some interesting lighting effects, but still staying within the dark sky ordinance, so that we can do some indirect lighting that happens with a canopy that you'll see later that overhangs the arrival colonnade. Once our guest comes in to about the midpoint of the project, you'll see a large kind of brown square that we're showing in the middle of the building. This is all of our sort of amenity space. The area to the east is our wager floor. And then the area to the west is our lounge, bar, and interior dining space. And that's separated by a raised VIP platform. As you continue to go to the west side of the building, we've now opened the project up to the views to the west overlooking the golf course, into some grand exterior dining space as well as some activity space. We've activated that exterior space with some fire pits, some putting green, a couple of cornhole spaces, and potentially a couple of cabanas in the back that we can serve and kind of make into a real VIP experience. The entire sort of branding and the way we've seen it is similar to a comfortable elegance, similar to, if you're familiar with the VIG at McDowell Mountain, in terms of its interior and exterior kind of connections, making sure both of those are really comfortable, and also making sure that they're both inviting and keeping in line with sort of the elegance and the level of sophistication that comes with the TPC. If we could go to the next slide. And if you could probably click through a couple of them. So what you're looking at is we've taken the exterior of the building, and some of the areas that we've sort of bookended our amenity space in the middle of the building with some service zones, and then articulated the kind of appropriate spaces with some higher end materials. And in the top two elevations, you're looking at the east elevation as you arrive, and this would be the first thing you see as you drive in. There will be some signage and some arrival features, but where the guest really addresses the building is where you see the colonnade in the north and sort of the textured space on the east. Those materials are all proposed to be a kind of a beige Roman brick. It has a very long kind of linear horizontal kind of gesture. The idea is to take sort of a modern approach to sort of a Frank Lloyd Wright kind of expression, allowing it to fit into the Scottsdale. Both of the clubhouses are very distinct on the TPC property. Both the Champions clubhouse is rather modern, and the tournament clubhouse is sort of very kind of a residential vernacular. So we're trying to kind of hit a middle point between the two and becoming sort of a kind of a modern Frank Lloyd Wright elegant space. The last two elevations are the south and the west. you start to see how the building opens up and where those spaces are going to be, 18-foot high clear ceilings that expand into the exterior area with glass walls. If we could go to the next. So this is a couple of renderings of that arrival. That's that colonnade. We're taking, again, stealing some moves from Frank Lloyd Wright in terms of a grand gesture and some great cantilevers on the colonnade, as well as using that low linear brick and sort of an elegance in terms of the materials of staying, not loud, where they're all kind of dialed into the desert kind of culture. And as you go into the colonnade, there is going to be a small water feature against the building, some channel glass that will have some branded kind of imagery that works with the PGA that kind of brings the guest into our arrival. And then as you're seeing our hostess standing there and at the end of that colonnade, a small kind of articulated gallery space that we can have some artwork as well as a really interesting copper ceiling. We can go to the next slide. This would be our arrival from the west. We are allowing access and we're looking forward to access from both golf courses. And so much so that we're providing bag storage at the west arrival and some cart parking so that guests and golfers can be driven to our facility, dropped off, or they can park their cart there, go in the backside of the building into the more casual sort of exterior space through that gateway, which mimics the structure of the building itself. Next slide. This would be that space within that site walled area that we're proposing. Right now, we're not showing a lot of tables and chairs out here, but this will be activated by, as you're at the end, sort of at the end of the perspective of this view, you're seeing sort of some TV screens that wrapping around a putting green. You're looking at a couple of cornhole courts that kind of bridge the cabanas. And then that opens as to the left, opens in the building itself with a grand overhang that will kind of indoor-outdoor bar. And that will turn into some really great, real comfortable exterior seating. Next slide. On the south side of the building, we're proposing a series of fire pits. It's alternating between sort of real casual fire pits as well as some eat at fire pits that we can have an integrated kind of eating and drinking area. This, again, has great visibility to the TVs that will ring the enclosure of the bar. All of this is protecting the dark sky, which with our great big roof. And as I kind of mentioned, we've oriented the building so that any of these exterior spaces are heading to the west and to the southwest. This protects the neighborhoods to the east from any noise that may come out of here, as well as our zoning code, sticking to our sound ordinances that we would to make sure that we're not creating a nuisance. Next slide. So I'll leave that back to Jordan.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We would take any questions and I'm sure your staff would as well. But thanks for all their support. They've really worked overtime on this and it's going to be a really cool amenity.
Okay, do we have any, this is Chair McAllen. Do we have any questions at this time by our commissioners?
This is Teresa. I'm sorry I can't raise my hand, but my question is the timeline as to when you think this will be functional. I realize there's lots of approvals and things. Just trying to get a feel for that.
Yeah, great question. So right now we're processing a conditional use permit, which just basically expands the TPC's footprint. And we're hopeful that that will be done within a few months. The goal from the construction standpoint is to be open by the Super Bowl, which will be in Arizona in 2023. We may or may not meet that goal. I know the guys on the line from the TPC and the PGA are certainly hopeful, but that's sort of our goal.
That's ambitious. I'm impressed. I hope you
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is. 'Cause. 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 'C
Thank you for the presentation. Great looking building. What is the conditional use permit for?
Conditional use permit to expand the TPC and then put this building on it. So we're working through that right now.
Okay, so right now, is it a city-owned property? Who owns the property?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, great point. Yes, it is a city-owned property. And so we'll be building the building for the city. The city will own it. We'll be leasing it. So great point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the
Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for listening.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? This is Chair McAllen. I have a question. With the public meetings, what was the response by the public?
That's a great question. So we notified very wide. We really wanted to go big. We had a really small contingent of people we did a Zoom last night actually. And I'd say the majority of them were quiet. There were two that were expressing great support. And then there were questions that you'd expect, like, what are the hours of the operation? What is the noise going to be like? Where's the entrance and the traffic? Is it going to increase? So we answered those questions, and then we wanted to go back, and we're going to be in communication. In fact, Jennifer, who's here with me from my firm, is I think probably already in communication with some of the community members to talk really about, I think the noise was the biggest question. We need to explain, the Scottsdale has such a stringent noise and decibel restrictions, but we wanted to get back to them on those things.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions by the commission? I don't see any hands raised. Okay, thank you so much for this presentation. It looks like it's going to be a fabulous world-class facility. Thank you.
We agree, and we'll be excited for you to come see it. Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the commission for all the good work you do for Scottsdale. We certainly appreciate it, and personally as a business owner here, I do. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 2 on the agenda is Asher Hills and Thompson Peak Park Bond 2019 project update, and that will be by Director Molinari.
Thank you, Chair McAllen. This is Nick Molinari, Parks and Recreation Director. Chair McAllen, members of the Parks and Recreation Commission, the following update provides the most recent activity on 2 exciting park projects that were included in the 2019 bond package. So Ashford Hills Neighborhood Park is a 17-acre neighborhood park, which was budgeted in the 2019 bond election at $6.1 million. The park, which we've covered in some of our previous meetings, will feature multi-use lighted courts, a shaded playground, a restroom building, and passive turf areas. The Parks and Recreation Department conducted a virtual open house for approximately 5 weeks, late September through the end of October. The virtual public meeting consisted of a video presentation that introduced the project, covered some of the details and conceptual plan, and then provided FAQs about the project. Additionally, we provided frequently asked questions and answers that were available for people to review, as well as the exhibits and other project elements. Comments were received by a survey form and through the phone hotline number. And the project generated 232 public comments from the community, which is actually a pretty solid response for us when we look at community input for our capital projects. As part of the public outreach plan, 1,010 homes and businesses in the proximity of the future park received postcards. And then information on the project and meeting were communicated to the area homeowners associations, which was a big part of our public outreach effort. And the meeting was included in our Scottsdale Update electronic publication. We do have we took all the information that we received from the public, and we have a second community meeting tentatively scheduled for January and February of 2022. That meeting will also be held virtually and hosted on the city's website. The meeting will present an updated conceptual plan based on the comments we received during the first public process. Many of the comments that we did receive were not necessarily relevant to design, specifically the request that we build an off-leash area in the future neighborhood park. So that's one thing that we've heard a lot about it, as far as some folks wanting us to build an off-leash area in that neighborhood, but this is a neighborhood park, and an off-leash area isn't something that is appropriate for a neighborhood park. Those are typically placed in, well, more than typically in Scottsdale, but placed in community parks, which we'll demonstrate in the next update about Thompson Peak Park. So once we've presented that new information to the neighborhood and stakeholders in the upcoming community meeting, we'll bring that project back to the Parks and Recreation Commission as a more detailed presentation, where the commission can provide input on the updated conceptual plan. We then take the design through the normal development process with the Development Review Board, the Planning Commission, and the City Council. So that's where we're at with Ashler Hills project. We've had a lot of valuable community input, and it's a very, very involved community, a very engaged community up in that area. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from the commission about Ashler Hills.
Okay, do we have any questions at this time? Okay, let's see. We have Commissioner McGarry, you have a question.
Thank you, and thank you, Nick. I'm sure this has been shown before, but I'm just trying to picture what the location is for this Ashler Hills Park. Exactly. Like cross streets, maybe?
74th and Ashler Hills. So it is way up north.
Okay, did you say 124th?
It's by the Target, Asher Hills. Kind of by the Target up there on the way to Carefree,
Okay, thank you.
right? Am I right? I thought that's right.
Commissioner Qualley, yes, you are correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, are there any other comments? Okay, great. Thank you for that presentation, Director Molinari, and we look forward to hearing more in January and February with the next public meetings. Item 3 on the agenda is the director's report, which will also.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Chair McAllen. I was going to also give a brief update on the status of the Thompson Peak Park.
Oh, I apologize.
No,
go right ahead.
They were on the same agenda item. So the Thompson Peak Park off-leash area, which was also included in the 2019 package with a budget of $4.6 million. This project was identified in the 2015 Community Services Master Plan and has always been considered a second phase of Thompson Peak Park. So the new off-leash area will be located on the corner of Thompson Peak Parkway and Hayden Road. The 3.5 acre dog park will include 4 fenced dog cells, which are gated areas, a footbridge connecting the new space with the existing amenities at Thompson Peak Park, and 100 new parking spaces that will be dedicated to that new area with the off-leash area. The project team recently wrapped up an RFP process to select an architect to design the new dog park, and we plan to award that contract in the next few weeks. Once that architect is selected, we'll develop some conceptual designs and begin the public engagement process, which will obviously include coming back to the Parks and Recreation Commission. So with that, I will answer any questions that the commission may have relative to the Thompson Peak Park off-leash area.
Okay, Vice Chair Jones, you have a question.
Thank you, Chair. Nick, and maybe just as a bit of a recommendation, if we could just get an aerial or something so we can see what we're talking about when we do these updates, that'd be helpful. I know there's a lot of room up there at Thompson Peak Park. Where would this off-leash dog area go? And then what compare it to the size of the Chaparral Park facility?
Chair Jones, good question. And with this brief update, I probably should have included some aerials, but we will come back with our next update and have aerials. So the Thompson Peak Park off-leash area will be located on the corner basically of Thompson Peak and Hayden, which is basically north of the park. So it's on a parcel that is under the power lines. And the size of this park or the off-leash area, there is more space on that particular piece of land than we intend to build the off-leash area on. So the off-leash area, we are intending that to be, it'll be a 3.5 acre off-leash area that includes the 4 fence cells. And that is a piece that probably is of interest to you and to members of the commission, because at the Chaparral Dog Park, if we want to talk relative size, we have 3 separate 1 acre dog separate cells or fenced in areas in the Chaparral Dog Park. So it's slightly bigger than what we have at Chaparral, not quite 4 acres, which would kind of make up that 4 separate 1 acre dog cells or separate dog areas. We do feel like having a little less than 1 acre in some of the dog cells, of 1 or 2 of the dog cells, does make sense when we consider the use that we've seen at the Chaparral off-leash area.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Chair Jones, one of our main considerations with the Thompson Peak area and the new off-leash area is to create, with those 4 cells, to be able to have enough of an opportunity for the grass to grow and for those areas to rest. And as you've seen with the Chaparral off-leash area, where we have 3 separate cells, it's very, very hard to rotate the use of the active dog areas in an effort to maintain the turf at a good condition.
Totally understand.
Okay. Commissioner McGarry, did you have your hand up for this, or was that for last time?
Sorry about that. I'll take it down.
No, that's fine. I didn't want to miss you if you had a comment.
Thank you.
Okay. If there are no more comments, thank you, Director Molinari, for that presentation. I'm excited to see that park, because I think that dog leash park, because that is one of the highest, densest areas of population growth in the city currently, if people are unaware of that. So that's very exciting. Director's report, item number 3, Director Molinari.
Thank you, Chair McAllen and members of the commission. I'm going to provide a brief update on some of the priorities the department's been working on over the past month. First, we'll start with the Bell Road Sports Complex, and the facility at Bell Road and 94th Street is starting to take shape with the structural steel and vertical blocks. So really, we're working on all of the facilities now at the Bell Road Sports Complex. The photo that we have here is an image of the maintenance and operations and restroom buildings that'll be included in the Bell Road Sports Complex. A few areas of focus this past month include continuing to landscape the surrounding areas of the 6 fan-based sports fields. We've been working on perimeter fencing, electrical, and then parking lot paving in preparation. The parking lot paving is scheduled for early January. Everybody's favorite holiday event, Holiday Lights, is in full swing at the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park, and the Paradise and Pacific Railroad is hauling folks nightly through January 2nd, 2022. So the structure of Holiday Lights this year is similar to last year, where we have a limited amount of tickets being sold to 2 time slots nightly. The $15 ticket for anyone 3 years and older includes unlimited train and carousel rides. We have increased ticket sales for these nightly. We've increased when I say ticket sales, we're allowing more people per time slot this year than we did last year during COVID, when COVID protocol was enforced and events approved by the city of Scottsdale were tightly monitored by our public safety division and our events committee. So our visitors and the folks coming to Holiday Lights have overwhelmingly preferred the shorter lines and the easier parking, the parking availability of this structure. And we still aren't out of the pandemic yet, so we feel really good about the structure of the event this year. While the fee is higher at $15 per ticket than what visitors paid in 2018, when train tickets were $5 for the Holiday Lights train ride and carousel tickets were $3 for each ride, those who choose to ride more than once actually see a cost savings, which people have really liked. With shorter lines, people can ride the train twice, they can take multiple carousel rides. And for those that choose to do that, there's actually a cost savings for those. So we most of those who we receive feedback from overwhelmingly say that, well, really not most, overwhelmingly people say that that the new structure and registration has been an enhancement. We have had one rain out night this year, which is pretty good. We usually have a few. And then we've also had the good fortune of having Scottsdale firefighters assist with staffing this year. And that's been a huge help and a great impact on staffing for the event. It's no secret that we have some part-time staffing challenges, and these firefighters who are on light duty, primarily due to injury, have helped with check-in and have worked in the Model Railroad building and in different areas throughout the event. The Horizon pickleball courts at Horizon Park, which we've updated the commission on several times over the past couple months, are now complete and our users love them. So we're really excited for our pickleball community for this project to be complete with a big kind of chunk of our inventory as far as pickleball courts in that area being offline during the construction. It was a huge win for us to put these new courts back into circulation, into our inventory. And then we did add, in addition to to all new courts with post-tension concrete, we've added new courts for a total of 10 at Horizon. So we have lots of happy pickleball players up in North Scottsdale. So that concludes my director's report.
Excellent. Thank you, Director Molinari. Commissioners' reports. Vice Chair Jones.
Again, just continual use of the Chaparral Dog Park. I love it. Hoping that we're going to be switching to the new grassed area and the one that hasn't been used for a while soon. So that's my hope. And that is my report. Wishing everybody happy holidays. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Curlin.
Yeah, I wanted to thank first Mr. Molinari for meeting with me for coffee and talking about one of my loves, which is gardening and the community gardens. And I just wanted to say that I've talked to a lot of different people, and I have some vegetables in the fire. And I've actually been touching base with the Veterans Committee and looking forward to perhaps getting a Veterans community garden going and a memorial to people in Scottsdale who have fought and lost their lives for us. So thank you all for having me this year, and have a wonderful, happy, and healthy new year.
Thank you, Commissioner Curlin. Commissioner Messier.
I don't really have anything. Just everyone have a great holiday and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Commissioner McGarry.
Oh, hi. I didn't have anything specifically, but after hearing Nick's report on the Horizon pickleball courts improvements and expansion, I can't wait to check that out. Seriously. And happy holidays.
Thank you. Commissioner Qualley.
Yes, I do have a report because I attended the Path and Park Subcommittee, of which I represent Parks and Rec on December 7th, and got an update. No surprise that the numbers are down during the hot season. But I think the thing I was most impressed about that I wanted the commission to know is that they've done a fabulous job of applying for federal money to help them finish the paths and trails, which I thought was a great idea. And they're putting some new trails kind of up to connect to the Sweetwater to get people across Hayden. And I thought that was, it's a place that if you look at the paths and trails map, you'll see there's an area that is void of any ability to move around pedestrians and bikes and horses. So I thought that was encouraging. But kudos to getting grant money out of the federal government so it doesn't come out of our taxpayer pocket. And also, of course, happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Qualley. And thank you for representing our commission at that subcommittee. And this is Chair
You're
McCallum.
welcome.
Thank you. Chair McAllen, my report is that I attended the tree lighting, which was wonderful. So many people right there, and love that the tree is right there near Solari Park. And looking forward to attending holiday lights this year with my family. And happy holidays to all and a happy new year. And with that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
This is Teresa. I motion that we adjourn.
Okay, and do I have a second?
A second, Gary.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner McGarry. Okay, roll call vote for adjournment. Vice Chair Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Curlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Messier,
Yes.
Commissioner McGarry,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualley,
Yes.
and Chair McAllen, yes. It is unanimous. We are adjourned. Happy New Year and happy holidays to all. Thank you, staff.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support.